Welcome to the Balanced Business Podcast, financial guidance for business owners who want more time, more money, and less stress. No jargon, no overwhelm, just straight talking advice to help you run your business with clarity. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the Balanced Business Podcast. I'm Nicola Hageman from the Numbers Quarter, and this is episode 2 of the Director's Handbook. In episode 1, we talked about whether going limited is the right move for you. And if you've decided that it is, then first of all, brilliant. That's a big step. And it's one that deserves to be done properly. Because yes, you can technically set up a limited company in about 15 minutes on Companies House website. But doing it right, doing it in a way that protects you, supports your growth, and sets you up for future success, well, that takes a little bit more thought. So, in this episode, I want to walk you through the steps of setting up your company in the right way, not just ticking boxes, but understanding what those boxes mean. We will cover the essentials, the common mistakes to avoid, and how to build a foundation that works for you. So let's get into it. Before you jump on the Companies House website, it's worth slowing down for just a moment and thinking through a few key things. Why are you setting up a limited company? What are you trying to achieve? Are you doing it for tax reasons, legal protection, to win new clients? Or, and this is a really common one, are you doing it because someone told you that you should? Now, I'm not here to talk you out of it, but forming a limited company is a legal step, and you want to be clear on why you are doing it so that you can make decisions that line up with that reason. And once you've got your why sorted, the how becomes much easier. So, let's start with the obvious. You'll need a name for your company. Now, this sounds simple, but it's worth giving it a little bit more time because once your company is registered, that name is part of your brand. It's on your legal documents, your invoices, and if you ever decide to sell the company or bring on investors, it's part of the value. So first, it needs to be unique. You can check this on Companies House website, and I really recommend doing a few searches, not just to see if the exact name exists, but to make sure it's not too close to something else in your industry. You don't want people mixing you up with someone else, or worse, thinking that you're trying to ride on their coattails. Also, think about your website domain, your email address, your social media handles. Are they all available? Because you don't want to secure the company name and then realise that someone else owns the .co.uk or the .com. And here's a little tip. Check for existing trademarks too. Even if the name is available on Companies House, it could still be protected elsewhere. Okay, next up is your registered office address. Now this is where Companies House and HMRC will send you official letters. And here's a bit that a lot of people don't realise, it is published publicly. So if you put your home address here, it's going to be visible online to anyone who looks up your company. Now, that might be totally fine, or you might prefer to use a virtual office address or your accountant's address just to keep a bit of separation between you and your business. At the Numbers Quarter, we offer this service to our clients because it gives that extra layer of privacy. And honestly, it also cuts down on spam. Once your address is public, the junk mail starts flowing. Okay, appointing directors and shareholders. Every limited company needs at least one director and one shareholder. And yes, they can be the same person. And in a lot of small businesses, that's exactly how it works. As a director, you're legally responsible for running the company. You're the one signing off on decisions, making sure the paperwork gets done, and representing the company in a legal sense. As a shareholder, you're the owner, the person entitled to profits and dividends. And if it's just you, this is straightforward. But if you're setting up with someone else, a co-founder, a business partner, or even a family member, then this is the point where you need to get really clear about how you're splitting things. 50-50 may sound fair, but it can lead to a deadlock. One person owning 51% and the other 49% gives you a decision maker. You might also want to think about bringing in different share classes if one person is investing money but not working in the business. And even if it feels awkward, get it in writing. Having clear roles, shareholdings, and a written shareholders agreement can save you huge headaches down the line. So when you form your company, you're going to be asked how many shares you want to issue and at what value. Most small businesses keep it simple. They issue 1 or 100 ordinary shares at £1 each. This gives clear percentage split and makes dividend payments straightforward. The total amount you issue becomes your share capital, and it matters more than you might think. If you ever want to bring in investors or you plan to sell the company one day, your share structure will be part of the deal. Don't overthink it, but do take a moment to understand what it means. And if you're unsure, get some advice. It's much easier to get it right from the start than try to unpick it later. Okay, let's choose a SIC code. Now, this is one of those odd little admin things that no one really explains. So when you register your company, you're going to be asked to choose a SIC code, which stands for Standard Industrial Classification. It's basically a code that tells Companies House what your business does. Now, the list is, let's just say, quirky. It's a bit outdated, often doesn't match your modern businesses very well. So pick the closest match. Don't stress if it's not perfect. If you do a few different things, for example, coaching, consultancy, online courses, pick the one that describes your main activity. You can update this later if your business evolves, so don't get too hung up on it. Once your company is registered, your next move is to open a business bank account. This is essential. Your company is a separate legal entity and it needs to have its own bank account. Mixing business and personal money, even if you're a one-person business, creates confusion, messy records, and problems at tax time. There are loads of options now, from traditional banks to online-only providers like Starling, Monzo, or Tide. Choose one that fits your style and ideally one that integrates with your bookkeeping software if you're using one. Just don't skip this step or try to run business through your personal account. It's not worth the hassle, and it's one of the quickest ways to lose financial control. Okay, and here's the bit people often forget. Once you've set up your limited company, you still need to register for corporation tax. HMRC doesn't just magically know what you're up to. Within 3 months of starting to trade, and trading includes things like issuing invoices, signing contracts, you need to let HMRC know that the company is active and liable for corporation tax. Depending on your situation, you may also need to register for PAYE, so payroll, so if you're going to pay yourself or anyone else a salary. VAT, so if your turnover is going to exceed the VAT threshold, which in June 2025 is currently £90,000, or if you choose to register voluntarily. If in doubt, this is one of those areas where getting it wrong can mean penalties, but getting it right from the start is straightforward. So once your company is set up, the admin doesn't stop. You've got a few key documents and records that you need to keep on file, and these are known as your statutory books. They include things like your register of directors and shareholders, any certificates that you've issued, and any resolutions or decisions made by the directors or shareholders. Now, if you're working with an accountant, they can help you manage these. At the Numbers Quarter, we look after this for our clients so they don't have to worry about it. But even if someone else is helping you, it's your responsibility as a director to make sure everything is complete and accurate. These records might never be looked at, or they might be crucial in the future, especially if you sell the company, raise investment, or go through an audit. Okay, last but definitely not least, think about how you're going to stay on top of everything. Now you've got a legal entity, you've got obligations, and you're building something that hopefully grows and evolves. So you'll need a system, either in the form of software like Xero or Free Agent, or through working with an accountant who can handle the filings and give you guidance. In most cases, the best option is a combination of both. Use software for visibility and real-time numbers, and work with an accountant for strategic advice, deadlines, and peace of mind. And remember, your accountant should be someone that you can talk to, someone who explains things in a way that makes sense. That's the kind of relationship that I build with my clients, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, my final thoughts. Setting up a limited company isn't difficult, but it is important. Doing it properly from the start gives you more control, more confidence, and fewer nasty surprises later on. So take your time, ask questions, get advice where you need it, and know that you don't have to figure it all out on your own. This is your business, your journey, and how you set the foundations will shape everything that comes after. Thank you for tuning into the Balanced Business Podcast. I am so glad to have you here. If this episode has helped you feel clearer about setting up your company properly, I would love it if you follow or share the podcast with someone else who's starting out on the same path. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what it really means to be a director, the legal responsibilities, the expectations, and how to stay on the right side of the rules. I'm Nicola Hageman from the Numbers Quarter, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Balanced Business Podcast. If you're ready for more time, more money, and less stress, hit follow, share this episode, or check out the full series. You'll also find my book, The Director's Handbook, and its free companion guide at thenumbersquarter.co.uk/book. See you next time.